Hey guys, today I'll be reviewing Love Actually, which is about 10 love stories in London. As you can imagine, 10 love stories can be very convoluted, and in a movie that's 2 hours long, that could be very hard to balance out and make each story have their own time. Though I do found myself having a hard time remembering who was who and what was what pretty much throughout the movie, I did find that they did really well in transitioning from one story to the other. I really loved how either someone was connected to another person and they kind of drew from that to that other person's story, or they used music to draw into another scene. Like, there's an example where in the wedding scene, there was this one song that they played, and then it turned into a funeral and the song that they were playing at that time. So that's really, really cool. A couple things that really took away from this movie was the fact that, one, as I said, it was really hard to keep track of who was who. The second thing is that there were some really awkward scenes, sex scenes, that I just kind of was like, was this really necessary to put in this movie? This was supposed to be funny, but I didn't really find it funny. The third thing is the acting was not as good as it could have been. There was a lot of really good actors in here. Hugh Grant, Keira Knightley, that one guy, I don't remember his name, and this other guy who was from The Lord of the Rings. So I was really excited to see these people in this movie, and Hugh Grant and Keira Knightley, they're like one of my favorites. Hugh Grant was the only guy in this movie who did a superb job in the acting area. I found that he really became the essence of this character. But Keira Knightley, another one of my favorite actresses, as you know, she does really great job in these classical movies that are, you know, English and things like that. The issue with her was that her acting wasn't as great. I'm not really sure if it was because that this was like one of her first movies, because she seems very young in this movie. She doesn't seem very much like a veteran in acting yet, so that's probably a possibility, and I didn't really mind it. It really does pull off being British very well, I think. Certain people's stories really kept me going into watching this movie. Hugh Grant's story, I don't know his name, I'm so sorry, I'm really bad with actors' names, but he was the writer in this movie. If you've watched it, you know who I'm talking about. He was absolutely adorable, and those two guys and Natalie, they were like the characters who kept me wanting to watch this. Also, the Prime Minister's sister, just add her in, she was really great also. Those people really kept me going. They were funny, they were amusing, they really touched my heart, and I just like, they were the soul of this movie. The other people in this movie were just either ridiculous, outrageous, or just not as good of an actor as they could have been in this movie. So overall, I did enjoy this movie. There were a lot of issues with it, I felt. The stories really didn't have a closure to them. There were maybe 2 stories that I felt that were left to your imagination, which is okay. I actually didn't mind that, but I kind of wanted to really know about the Prime Minister's sister and her husband's story. I wanted to know if they were working things out or not, and yet they left you wondering at the end, especially with the way she acted when she saw him. So I don't really know. And yeah, that was a bit of an issue, and I guess if you're going to watch this movie, you have to keep in mind that this isn't the typical romance movie. It's not the happily ever after, and there's way too many stories in this. So I give this movie a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It would have gone up to 3, but there were just too many issues in this movie for me to really like this movie enough to give it a 3. So yeah, if you watched this movie, tell me what you thought of it. Did you really like the style, or did you think there was too many stories going on at once? What did you really think? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!